May I request the distinguished guests to kindly occupy the seats on the dais. A very good evening to one and all. Today, as we stand on the threshold of the 75th anniversary of Indian independence, it's simply befitting that we remember with gratitude and reverence the contribution of all who've attained martyrdom in the service of our motherland. As a graceful tribute to the brave hearts, a Martyrs column is being dedicated in this temple of justice. To begin with, may I request the Registrar General of the High Court, Sri P. Krishna Kumar, to kindly welcome the august gathering.
Dignitaries on and off the dais. It is the cause, not the death, that makes the martyrs. This quote comes to our mind when we think of martyrs. The idea to erect a structure for the martyrs was conceived by the Honorable Chief Justice, and it was intended to be a perpetual reminder to the great cause it represents. Soon after this object was shared by the Honorable Chief Justice, it has become our passion. Let it remain here forever like an eternal flame. It is my duty to welcome this august gathering. Honorable Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran, the Chairman of the Building Committee, who has given us valuable guidance throughout the project, is presiding over this function. A warm welcome to His Lordship to this function. Honorable Chief Justice, who has meticulously scrutinized every aspect of this project and led us this far. A very warm welcome to His Lordship. With profuse gratitude and respect, we cordially welcome Mr. M.A. Hambiholi, the Vice Admiral of Southern Naval Command, to the gathering. Sri S. Gopalakrishna Kurup, the Advocate General of Kerala and the Head of the Law Officers of the State, is also cordially welcomed to this function. The High Court Advocates Association is always a pillar of support to this institution in all its endeavor. We welcome Sri Rajesh Vijayan, the President of the Association, to this function. Honorable judges of this court have given us guidance in this endeavor, and we warmly welcome all the honorable judges in this occasion. Sri Pradeep Kumar, Registrar Administration, and his team ably and passionately executed this work for the Martyrs column. I formally welcome him also to this function. The PWD wing also has taken up this work with great commitment. Srimati Beena, the Chief Engineer PWD, is also welcome to this function. Sri Balamurugan, the Senior Architect, who has given a lively and unforgettable design to this structure, and the Executive Engineer and her team are also present here. Many other distinguished guests and naval officers are also assembled here, graciously accepting our invitation. I cordially welcome all of them to this function. The law officers and the learned members of the bar, officers and staff of the High Court, advocate clerks, media persons, and one and all those are assembled here, and those are also watching this function online, are sincerely welcome to this function.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Srimati L. Beena, Chief Engineer Buildings, Department of Public Works, Government of Kerala, to kindly present the report.
Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Ms. K. Vinod Chandran sir, Honorable Registrar General Sri P. Krishna Kumar sir, Vice Admiral Sri Hampi Holi, Advocate General Sri K. Gopala Krishna Kurup sir, all other distinguished guests on and off the dais. It's with great respect and reverence that I am presenting this technical report before this august audience. As per the direction of the Honorable High Court of Kerala, an estimate amounting to Rs 7 lakhs were prepared. The approval of the site and the plan of the permanent Martyrs column submitted by the PWD was promptly issued by the Honorable High Court of Kerala. The administrative sanction for the same was accorded on 12/4/22 by the Chief Engineer, PWD Buildings, and technical sanction was issued on 21/4/22 by the Assistant Executive Engineer. As this is a work of important nature, the only limited time was available and we took off it in a ward-footing manner. The work was tendered and entrusted with the contractor, Sri Mr. George Kuriakos Palikara, for an agreed PAC of 7.4 lakhs. The agreement was executed on 15/6 and the work started on 23/6/2022. It took only 48 days to complete the work. It was successfully completed by 10/8/22. A pillar dedicated to freedom, the Martyrs column and the surrounding green lawn serve as a tribute to those who laid down their life for the country's independence. The Martyrs column has a base platform having a size of 3.3 by 3 and a height of 1.2 meter from the ground level. The column has a height of 3.3 centimeter from the base slab with a tapering shape. Flower beds are provided at both sides and the slanting platform has been provided for placing flowers and bouquets. The Martyrs column is constructed as a concrete structure. Its foundation rests over the soil, stabilized with sand piling. Cladding of black granite and quartz white slab is provided with brass strips. In this moment of happiness and fulfillment, I thank everyone of the Honorable High Court, especially Honorable Chief Justice, the Registrar General, Registrar Administration, the judges, and all the staff of Honorable High Court for extending all the support for the successful completion of this prestigious structure. I also thank Sri George Kuriakos, the contractor, for timely completion of the work. I also thank all the PWD staff for the coordinated effort they have done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. May we now request the Honorable Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran, the senior-most judge of the High Court and the chairman of the High Court Building Committee, to kindly deliver the presidential address.
The Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, Vice Admiral M.A. Hampi Holi, my dear brothers and sisters, Sri K. Gopalakrishna Kurup, Learned Advocate General, Rajesh Vijayan, respected President of the High Court Advocates Association, dignitaries on and off the stage. It's befitting that we have erected a Martyrs column in the High Court premises, the first of its kind in any court complex. That too, on the 75th year of independence. It is also appropriate that we inaugurated just a couple of days before the 75th Independence Day. It is a matter of pride that both the ideas originated from the Honorable the Chief Justice. And I congratulate him for the noble concept and the solemn thought. A martyr's column, as we know, is a remembrance. Remembrance of the sacrifices and a symbol of our gratitude to those who willingly and knowingly sacrifice themselves for others. As a nation, when we talk about sacrifices, first and foremost, it is the freedom struggle. Then there are those who strive constantly to maintain order within and without the country, especially on the borders, on land, on sea, and in the air, and also on those unstable desks where intrigue is met with diplomacy and statesmanship. We cannot also forget the great sacrifices made in the last couple of years when the existence of mankind itself was threatened. To which sacrifices we owe the life breath we draw at this very moment. All these sacrifices were to ensure that life be lived without servitude, shame, or oppression, and with aspirations, peace, and prosperity. No remembrance of a sacrifice is complete without remembering that one single man, whom we and the world fondly and reverently address as the Mahatma. It was the Mahatma, along with the freedom fighters, who wrested freedom for their countrymen from the jaws of the empire on which the sun never set at that point of time. If we look at it that way, we have to rededicate ourselves not on these special occasions or when we pass by the Martyrs column. Every day, as we wake up, and in every waking hour, we have to dedicate ourselves to the enduring principles they lived by and the lofty ideals for which the greatest sacrifices were made. It is an irony of fate that today I stand before you and quote Macaulay, one of the most vilified Englishmen in the recent years. But with a slight improvisation, which history permits, and I think I am justified in making. Macaulay, through Horatius, spoke, quote, "To every man on this earth, death comes sooner or late. But how better can a man die but facing the fearful odds?" I improvise a bit. How better can a man die than by facing the fiercest odds in protection of his nation, its sovereignty and integrity, and in preservation of its people, their liberty and freedom. I bow with reverence and gratitude to those great men and women who sacrificed themselves and gave their lives for us to live peacefully. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Your Lordship. The much-awaited moment is here, the dedication of the Martyrs column. I consider it my privilege to request the Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, to kindly do the honors.
Honorable Brother Justice Vinod Chandran, Judge High Court of Kerala, Chairman Finance Committee, High Court of Kerala, Chairman Building Committee, High Court of Kerala, whose committee has given permission to erect this Martyr column. Therefore, my first thanks to my Finance Committee head and Building Committee head. my esteemed brother and sister judges, Vice Admiral Thambi Holi, the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command, Mr. Gopalakrishna Kurup, Learned Advocate General, Mr. Anil Kumar, Chairman Bar Council of Kerala, Mr. Rajesh Vijayan, President Kerala High Court Advocate Association, Dr. Renu Raj, District Collector Ernakulam, Mr. Nagaraj, IG of Police and District Police Chief Ernakulam, Srimati Beena, Chief Engineer Buildings, Department of Public Works, Mr. Krishna Kumar, Registrar General, Mr. Pradeep Kumar, Registrar Administration, and other registrars of this court. A special mention to Mr. Arun, Public Relations Officer, High Court of Kerala. Law officers of the state and the central governments, my respected senior advocates and members of the bar, officers and staff of this court, members of the Clerks Association, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. We are about to step into the 75th year of India's independence. Our country is witnessing the unique Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav festival initiated by the Government of India and celebrated throughout the country to commemorate the freedom fighters. It's a proud moment for High Court of Kerala to remember thousands of known and unknown martyrs who had sacrificed their blood and precious life for the motherland. Martyrs' column is a signature of remembrance of the contributions of the unsung heroes who had laid their lives for the country and people. The Martyrs' column dedicated to the people today is a salute to the patriotic men. Dream of father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, for a free India became a reality only because of the sacrifices of the thousands of freedom fighters, many of whom would always remain anonymous and whose names will never find a place in the pages of our history. Post-independence also, India has been blessed with brave men and women who have sacrificed their lives. Even during the pandemic period, we have witnessed many sacrifices for the nation and its people. In the words of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, one individual may die for an idea, but that idea will, after his death, incarnate itself in 1,000 lives. We must pay tribute and homage to the glorious memories of all our freedom fighters and all the men who have sacrificed their lives for the nation. We, the citizens of India, owe to our martyrs, to whom we should respect from the bottom of our heart. And I believe that future generation to work resolutely towards making India a great country, respecting the martyrs, which is, I feel, a fundamental duty. I believe that this Martyrs' column should not be a place for observance of any day, but it should be an inspiration and a reminder to us and the generations to come. On behalf of High Court of Kerala, I express my sincere gratitude for the gracious presence of Vice Admiral Hampoli on this auspicious occasion, representing Indian Army and Armed Forces, all the Navy personnel here, all the personnel from the disciplined forces. Thank you. I congratulate the state government, particularly the Public Works Department, for completing the project within a very short time. I also express my sincere thanks to all the persons, all the registrars of this court who have contributed in making this martyr column. Before concluding, I may quote the words of Chester Himes, an American writer. I quote, "Martyrs are needed to create incidents. Incidents are needed to create revolutions. Revolutions are needed to create progress." Today, we have assembled here to pay our respects to our martyrs, and I believe that all are officers, judicial officers, and staff to continuously maintain this particular day, remember this day all the time. And it's a first of its kind in the country that any High Court has come up with the Martyr column. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Your Lordship. We are extremely happy to have with us today Vice Admiral M.A. Humpy Holy, AVSM NM, the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command, to offer tribute to the martyrs, representing the armed forces. Sir,
Honorable Chief Justice of the Kerala High Court, Shri S. Manikumar, esteemed judges of the Kerala High Court, distinguished guests, eminent personalities who are present here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. It is indeed a matter of immense honor and a singular privilege for me to be here this evening amidst you all for the dedication ceremony of the Martyrs column in the premises of the High Court of Kerala. And as the Honorable Chief Justice mentioned, the first of its kind in the premises of any High Court in a state, and definitely is a path that other states would need to follow. As a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations in the 75th year of our independence, when we celebrate our people, our culture, and our accomplishments, the dedication of the Martyrs column is a befitting tribute in the memory of the freedom fighters who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom, as well as the brave soldiers of the armed forces of the country who have made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty, protecting and upholding the country's territorial integrity. This occasion commemorates the valor and saga from which all of us in uniform and also those not in uniform draw immense inspiration. I solemnly pay my respects and tribute to all the brave hearts and martyrs who have sacrificed their lives for the motherland and for the future that is us. It is not only our brethren who are in uniform and the freedom fighters of yore, but even our other uniformed personnel from the paramilitary forces, from the police, and from various other industrial establishments who are guarding and are redeeming the faith that has been reposed in them, and most honorably at that. History is witness to the fact that India has never waged a war on another country, but when faced with an aggression, has given a resolute reply to the aggressors. There are countless tales of heroics of the Indian soldiers world over, be it Gallipoli, France, East Africa, Haifa, Malaya, or Singapore, or even during the World Wars. The sacrifices made by our soldiers during Indo-Pak wars, the Sino-India War of 1962, the Kargil conflict, the numerous sacrifices that have been made and continue to be made in the counter-insurgency and the counter-terrorism and UN peacekeeping operations. We just heard yesterday of the supreme sacrifice made by 4 of our brethren. They are immense source of inspiration from where we all, men in uniform and those not in uniform, draw strength and inspiration. The state of Kerala has also contributed a large number of freedom fighters and soldiers who have made the supreme sacrifice for our motherland. Some of our notable freedom fighters from the state, like Shri K. Kumar, Shri K. Kalapan, Srimati A.V. Kuttimalu Amma, Srimati Achama Chirian, Shri Muhammad Abdul Rahman, Shri Swadeshi Bhimani Ramakrishna Pillai, and Shri V.K. Krishnamenan are, of course, people that we know of. But as the Honorable Chief Justice mentioned, there have been many unsung, unheard, and unwept heroes who we should never forget. The state of Kerala has also a large number of gallantry award winners who have been recognized for their acts of bravery, both during peace and war. This includes 3 Ashoka Chakras, 1 Mahavir Chakra, 7 Kirti Chakras, 28 Veer Chakras, and 74 Shaurya Chakras. Or people from the state who have made the supreme sacrifice for the country include Lieutenant Colonel Ramakrishna Vishwanathan and Captain J.D. Prem Raj, who were awarded the Veer Chakra during the Kargil War of 1999, Captain R. Harshan, who was awarded the Ashok Chakra for anti-terrorist operations in J&K in 2008, and of course, we all know of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, who was awarded the Ashok Chakra for Operation Black Tornado during the 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack. Their acts of bravery and courage inspire a whole generation of armed forces, officers and men to follow their footsteps. I would like to reiterate that we must all draw the inspiration from the sacrifices of our brave soldiers and martyrs and contribute towards making India a modern, technologically advanced, great and prosperous nation as we march towards 2047 that marks 100 years of India's independence. We must selflessly and wholeheartedly work towards making incremental changes for improving efficiency and effectiveness in our small spheres of influence as our contribution to making our country great. Let us pledge that we will never forget the sacrifices of our freedom fighters and martyrs and dedicate our lives to building the India of their dreams. I must also inform the esteemed audience that all officers in uniform, when commissioned, take an oath of allegiance to the Constitution of the country to protect its ideals, the people, and the ideals which have been enshrined in the Constitution, even to the peril of their lives. With this spirit, let us salute our brave hearts and martyrs on whose sacrifices our vibrant democracy stands tall today. Thank you. Shona Varuna. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Gratefully acknowledging the honored presence of the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command, I request the Honorable, the Chief Justice, to kindly present a memento to Vice Admiral M.A. Humpy Hole. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice. Today, we also have with us the learned Advocate General Kerala, Sri K. Gopalakrishna Kuru. May I request the Advocate General to kindly deliver the keynote address.
Honorable Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, the Honorable Chief Justice of High Court of Kerala, Honorable Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran, High Court of Kerala, the President of this function, Honorable Vice Admiral M.A. Humpy Hole, Air Commanding-in-Chief of the Southern Naval Command, Advocate Rajesh Vijayan, President Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Honorable Judges of the High Court who are present here, Sri P. Krishnakumar, Registrar General High Court of Kerala, Srimati L. Beena, Chief Engineer Buildings, Department of Public Works, Government of Kerala, Sri Pradeep Kumar, Registrar, Administration, High Court of Kerala, esteemed members of the bar, staff of the High Court, staff of the Advocate General, Advocate Clerks, all dignitaries present here, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the visionary leader who had occasion to charter the course of our then nascent nation as its first Prime Minister, concluded his much acclaimed book titled the discovery of India by quoting the following words of Nikolai Ostrovsky, the renowned Soviet writer. I quote, "Man's dearest possession is life, and since it is given to him to live but once, he must so live as not to be seared with the shame of a cowardly and trivial past. So live as not to be tortured for years without purpose. So live that dying he can say, all my life and all my strength were given to the first cause of the world, the fight for liberation of mankind." I end quote. The Martyrs column in the majestic precinct of this august institution, being dedicated today, will forever remain a befitting tribute to the sacrifices of scores of the legendary, the famous, the popular, the known, as well as the unknown people who gave all their strength and their dearest possession, that is, their lives, for the liberation of this great country and to protect and retain her territorial integrity. A minute of honorific silence with bowed heads before the Martyrs column will certainly evoke the memories of the Mahatma, the father of the nation, who fought all his life for an independent India and attained martyrdom for the cause of secularism in independent India. Of "Give me blood and I shall give you freedom," the legendary slogan of the one and only Netaji and the Indian National Army. Of the bravery of the soldiers who gave up their lives while guarding the borders of our nation from external aggression. Of the gallantry of the personnel of various security forces in the country, both of the Union and the states, who died defending the citizenry from extremist forces. Of the first ever organized struggle against the British in India that occurred at Attingal near Thiruvananthapuram in 1721, and the consequential siege of the English fort at Anjudangu by the people of the locality. The valor of Lakshmi Bai, the Rani of Jhansi, Kerala Varma, the Raja of Parsi, Velathambi, the Diwan of Tiruvidankur, Veerapandya Kattabomman, the Poligar of Panchalakurichi, and Komaram Bhim, the iconic leader from Hyderabad, who all chose to fight unto death rather than bowing down to the tyranny of the colonial rulers. Of Mangal Pandey and his brethren in the British India Army, who boldly ignited the first war of independence in 1857. Of the young revolutionaries Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Sukhdev Rajguru, and Udham Singh, who fearlessly went to the British gallows with smiles in their faces. Of the brave personnel of the erstwhile Royal Indian Navy, who in 1946 uprose all over the country against their colonial masters. Of the agrarian workers who died fighting the army of Travancore for the cause of becoming citizens of our great democracy, rather than being meek subjects of a royal ruler, and so on and so on. I wholeheartedly congratulate the Honorable the Chief Justice of Kerala and Honorable Judges of the High Court for this unique and novel venture, which will consistently evoke memories of the sacrifice of martyrs who laid down their lives for our motherland. Thank you one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the President, Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Sri Rajesh Vijayan, to kindly offer felicitations.
Very good evening to all. Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, President of this function, Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran, most respected Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief of Southern Naval Command, Vice Admiral M.P. Holi, holder of Adi Vishishta Seva Medal and now Sena Medal, Advocate General of Kerala, Sri K. Gopalakrishna Kurupu, Registrar General of High Court of Kerala, Sri P. Krishna Kumar, Registrar Administration of High Court of Kerala, Sri A.V. Pradeep Kumar, Chief Engineer of the Department of Public Works, Srimati L. Beena, Honorable Justice of this Honorable Court, senior lawyers, esteemed members of the bar, and my dear friends. Almost 500 years of tyrannical rule in India by European rulers, which can be traced back to the 14th century when Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, came to India. Thereafter, we fought against the Portuguese, then the Dutch, the British, and finally the French, and we lost so many lives. Many of our freedom fighters, including young educated people, were executed. Eventually, a lawyer from Gujarat developed a new weapon of non-violence, gave leadership for the freedom movement, and finally we got independence in the year 1947. Ironically, father of our nation also became a martyr soon. Post-independence era was also not free from wars. Conflicts with the neighboring countries, terrorist attacks, internal rebellion, and all these resulted in creating martyrs. We lost several brave soldiers during the war against Pakistan and China. We lost brave soldiers during the Kargil conflict, as well as in Pulwama attack, Bombay attack, etc. We sleep peacefully because of the defense personnel guarding our borders with utmost dedication. We bow down before the unmatched courage and commitment of our military towards the security of our nation. The veterans of our military services have put their lives on the line to protect the freedom that we enjoy. They have dedicated their lives to our country and deserve to be recognized for that. To pay homage to all the martyrs, unsung heroes, and to remember the forgotten heroes, the Kerala High Court has come up with a Martyrs column in the premise of the High Court. This is a commendable step taken by the Chief Justice of Kerala High Court and High Court administration. I take this opportunity to salute all those martyrs, unsung heroes, and forgotten heroes who lost their lives for the nation. Many of them might be renowned yet unknown to the new generation. Today, 12th August 2022, is definitely going to be remembered in the history of High Court of Kerala in golden letters. Let me conclude with a famous quote of Napoleon Bonaparte. It is the cause, not the death, that makes a martyr. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. As the formal part of the ceremony is drawing to a conclusion, may I request Sri A.V. Pradeep Kumar, Registrar Administration, High Court of Kerala, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, esteemed audience, respected guests who participate in the event online, ladies and gentlemen, a blissful good evening to all. Today, on the eve of the 75th anniversary of independence of our great nation, the High Court has a permanent Martyrs column to keep us motivated. This is to salute our soldiers and civilians who never thought about themselves but always thought about the country. It's my privilege to stand here to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. The Honorable Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran, Chairman of the High Court Building Committee, who presided over the ceremony, was always reassuring, and without which this event could not have been realized in this manner. I extend our deep sense of gratitude for His Lordship's encouragement and persuasive presidential address. Thank you, sir. Today, one of the dream projects of our Honorable Chief Justice has come to a reality. A place of worship for the martyrs of the land in the premises of the highest seat of justice in the state. I extend our wholehearted gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice for dedicating this Martyrs column and for the thought-provoking speech. Thank you, my Lord. A Martyrs memorial always reminds us of the brave soldiers. The presence of Vice Admiral M.A. Hampiholi, the Flag Officer Commanding Chief, Southern Naval Command, makes these occasions meaningful. Our invitation to participate in this ceremony was wholeheartedly accepted by him, and it was a splendid speech, sir. On behalf of the High Court, I express our immense gratitude. Wholehearted gratitude is extended to the Honorable Judges who have graced this occasion with their presence.
On behalf of the High Court, I extend hearty gratitude to the Learned Advocate General Sri Gopalakrishna Kurup and Sri Rajesh Vijayan, President, Kerala High Court Advocates Association. Both of them were very supportive of our endeavors. On behalf of the High Court, I express our wholehearted gratitude towards the distinguished invitees, including the law officers, district collector, and the district police chief, who have enriched this ceremony with their presence. The state PWD, under the leadership of Srimati L. Beena, Chief Engineer, Sri Dilip Lal and Srimati Suja Rani, Superintending Engineers, has taken utmost efforts to complete the project in a very short span of time. Sri Balamurugan, Senior Architect, PWD, and his team of architects deserve a very special mention. Sri George Kuriakos, the contractor, executed the plan in an excellent manner. As a representative of the High Court, I congratulate each of them and express our sincere thanks. This occasion has become a meaningful, significant event with the participation of the advocates, staff of Advocate General's Office, and the advocate clerks. I thank every one of them on behalf of the High Court. The Registrar General P. Krishna Kumar, who was instrumental and inspiring in the fulfillment of this project, other registrars, public relations officers Sri T.S. Arun, other officers and staff of the High Court, especially the J and K sections headed by Sri Soy Matthews, Sri Sunil Kumar, and Sri Rajiv, are also remembered with gratitude. I extend our gratitude towards the security wing of the High Court, the city police, print, visual and online media, and other infrastructure and hospitality units for their immense support. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. To add to the majesty, we have the official Navy band playing the national anthem, marking the conclusion of the formal ceremony. May we rise for the national anthem. I humbly request everyone to kindly be seated for a while. The poem Pushp Ki Abhilasha by the famous Hindi poet Sri Makhanlal Chaturvedi goes like this. Mujhe tod lena van mali, us pad par dena tum फेंक, मातृभूमि पर शीश चढ़ाने जिस पद जावे वीर अनेक. May we now proceed to the Martyrs column in the front courtyard of the High Court for offering a floral tribute. Thank you. Thank you one and all.
Get it.